I'm in the deep treading water, forever chasing whispers, they talk to me. I'm in my head, it's torture, forever wishing it's all make believe. I lost you from the start, I wish I was enough. You watch me fall apart. You lost my love in the deep end. You said I was the one. You lost my love in the deep end. You broke me with precision. You lost my love in the deep end.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. It is a beautiful day for the weather that we've been having lately. So today we got a lot of stuff going on, and I think the best way to start off a busy day is to get some coffee. We're gonna take the daily today. Man, it's been a long time since I've drove this car. I want to talk about what the plan is, what's going on. But like I said, we need coffee. Let's just start with what happened and what I have learned. So, long story short, this was a huge thing in 2JZ land. I don't know if anyone watching the channel is into Supras, and any chaser guys on the channel, or JZXs. Anyone basically with a 2J that decided to go with GSE Power Division cams way early in the days. Before, you know, they knew it was a problem. Cam over bucket design or a rocker design, it kind of just depends on, or a lifter. It just kind of depends on how you have it. But the preface is what I'm talking about is specifically for the GSE Power Division cams. Early model, before they knew it was an issue, they made their cams out of billet. I believe they're billet steel cams, and they did not put, there was no sort of coating on the cam lobes of the cams. And when you have a OEM bucket that the cam lobe pushes down on when it comes, you know, full rotation, and it kind of, if I can explain it, you have the cam lobe kind of come down, so you have a cam bucket, and it, when the lobe comes down, it pushes the cam bucket, and the cam bucket, essentially its primary job, who the fuck, I don't need you. It pushes down on the bucket, and the bucket's job is to play like a mediator surface between the top of the valve, and the cam lobe to push the valve open. And that's essentially how a cam opens and closes the valves. And they're spring loaded, so a lot of, you know, hence valve springs. Nothing against GSE Power Division at all. They are great cams. A lot of Evo guys run them in all of their 8s, 9s, 10s. I mean, pretty much in every generation of Evo. However, if you have early model cams that don't have any sort of coating, and nobody knew about this until it was too late, is the hardness of their billet steel cams, the hardness exceeds the hardness of the cam bucket, the OEM lifter buckets. So what ends up happening is the cam lobes, even with adequate oil pressure and good oil in there, like, it doesn't matter what you do to prevent it, the cam lobes are going to eventually eat into the cam buckets. That's just an inevitable problem you're going to run into. Not saying that is how it is now. GSE long ago has fixed this issue. This is my recommendation to you guys out in the community. If you are going to buy a set of GSE S1, S2, S3 cams, what I recommend to you is getting your cam buckets, and it's not an expensive service, but get your cam buckets DLC coated, or diamond-like carbon coating is what it's called, or DLC coating. Diamond-like coating offers kind of like, it's like a hardener, or it's like putting clear coat almost, like a really, really thick layer of clear coat on top of your cam bucket. And what that offers is a friction surface that will absorb any marring from the cam. even with adequate oil pressure. So for those guys that are going to be installing cams and are going to be going the route that that I did, this was my own negligence in not knowing this information ahead of time, but also a lot of people in 2JZ land did not know this and were pissed. So a little bit of history for you guys on that one. So that is essentially what was happening to my car. Wanted to kind of check over everything, and I pulled the valve cover off. I actually also was going to be getting the valve cover powder coated, but so I pulled it off, and I noticed on the exhaust side there was a lot of heat spots. It wasn't really bad, but it was like noticeable on all of the exhaust side cam lobes. And obviously if those are marred up, the buckets are marred up. And I've been kind of contemplating this for a long time anyways, so I kind of see it as like a devil in disguise kind of situation, or, you know, just trying to make the best of the situation, because it was either one, I am gonna have to pull this head, and because that, I'll put it this way, I was left with basically two options. No, I did not. You do not have to completely rebuild your motor to replace an exhaust cam and some cam buckets. Absolutely do not need to do that. It kind of was like this domino effect. All right, I need to pull the cam so I can get the cam basically like reconditioned, where it's gonna be polished and resurfaced on the lobes, and then make sure it mics out correctly. So that's one thing. And replace the exhaust side cam buckets. Now, doing that, gotta pull the cam and gotta make sure I pull the timing set. However, I know some people are successful at pulling the timing set and getting the cams out without pulling the head. I know you can do it. I know it can be done. I personally will admit I am not skilled enough to do that on my own, to kind of work around that. I don't have the tools, nor do I have, not necessarily the confidence, but the ability to kind of make sure that I'm not gonna drop the timing chain into basically the bottom end of the motor. So I said, okay, well, I'm gonna have to pull the timing set. Okay, well now I might as well service the timing set. Granted, the motor only has like 4,000 or 4,500 miles now. It has barely any miles on it. So there really wasn't a need to do a new timing set, but I was like, well, since I'm already there, I might as well. Oh, but if I'm pulling that, then I'm gonna pull the head too and check the valves and make sure those are okay. So if I'm gonna do that, and it just became this domino effect where if I'm doing this, then I'm gonna do that, and if I'm doing that, then I'm gonna do that as well. And it just kind of, it didn't end. And like I said, I have been considering rebuilding the motor for a while now anyways. And the reason why, for those that are just kind of like, but why would you do that? I thought the motor was already built. It is, but here's the thing. You can either do sleeved or non-sleeved motors. Non-sleeved motors are cheaper. You don't have to cut the factory sleeves out. You don't have to get the short block machined all the way like that and get them installed. And also the cost of the hardware, the time, the machine shop. So building a motor where it's, you know, all new hardware, plus you know, better upgraded pistons and rods and bearings and all that kind of fun stuff like I did, there is a limitation point for the factory 4B11 sleeves. There is a limitation point to them. They are not invincible. So for people that are just looking to do like, I would say anywhere between 600 to 700 horsepower. Sometimes I've seen people get away with like 750 for quite some time, but it seems to be that the safe zone for the factory sleeves are between 600 to 700 horsepower. I am now limited by the factory sleeves. And if I'm pulling all of this apart to do, you know, the repair work, why not kind of just do it all in one sweep? Just rebuild the motor from the bottom to the top, with the best hardware that you can get, and that way I no longer have to worry about it, and I can just drive the car. And I have a surprise for you guys. I'm not gonna talk about it yet, but no. Yes, I'm still running Art Gennari's turbos. My boy Tyler, I'm still running them. But there's something in the works here that I think you guys are gonna really like. So, and I think some of you have seen on my Instagram some of the hints that I've been putting out, but just stay tuned. Stay tuned for that, because I think you guys are really gonna like it. This is gonna be the first episode of the rebuild series for the Evo. I don't know what I'm gonna title the video yet. I gotta find something, you know, clickbaity, but this is gonna be the first of, I don't know how many episodes it's gonna take. Now that you understand where I'm coming from as far as the motor, let's start with what we're gonna be doing today, and then kind of what the plan is. So today, in about an hour, a good friend of mine from Elevated Motorsports out here in Washington is gonna be coming down and picking up the Evo with me, and we're gonna be taking it to the shop and doing the full teardown on this thing so we can see the condition of the motor. We are gonna be sending the motor off to our boys over at Exigent Solutions Racing in Ohio. Now, what are we having done to the motor, you ask? So, we're just going balls to the walls with this thing. Brand new motor. It's gonna be sleeved, pistons, rods, bearings, built head. I mean, literally from the bottom to the top, built to the hilt. So, I will have a detailed spec list of the motor once we receive it back from Exigent, so that we can kind of go over, if you guys are looking to do and mimic kind of my build, then you guys can kind of have an idea of what the specs are on the motor and what to go after. Now you know what happened, where I'm at, and what the plan is, at least for today. We also have a slew of other stuff that is already on the Evo and needs to go into the Evo. Hey guys, welcome back. So, it's been some time. I just wanted to kind of fill you guys in on what's going on now. So, we have the Evo at the shop now. It's where we're actually on our way to our boys over at Elevated Motorsports. So we're gonna be going and seeing the progress on the Evo, and essentially we're gonna just keep tearing the motor out and kind of dive into that part. So once we get there, we'll start recording. Got to charge up some of the batteries for the GoPro. So all right, I will see you guys when we get there. Oh, we're at 17%.
Really? We have a gray one, right?
No, it's red. It's red too.
Yeah, on Instagram, is Instagram Fab and Dab?
Oh, he does the fabrication stuff for Tanner too, huh?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
alright. Everyone knows everyone.
Couple 17s.
Couple 17s. Shit all, this Lamborghini's all fucking torn apart.
Almost.
Almost there. All the fucking parts stored up in here. I got myself a storage unit. Smooth brain. You having fun over here, bud?
Yep. Ton of fun. Mismatched bolts.
Hey man, now we know. Hey, it's labeled seal and seal on the timing cover. I don't see no maybe seals in there.
Well, because you gotta put the,
You gotta plug some of them, right?
no, you gotta put silicone in the bolts so they don't leak. Because it goes into the oil.
Oh. What the fuck?
Okay,
It'll be hilarious. This entire process, somehow the block was still sleeved.
Bro, I'd be fucking mad. I'd go home.
I would go home. I'm like, fuck. Put it back in, put it back in. This is weird. I'm doing the opposite of what I usually do.
Watching somebody else do it.
Watching someone else do it and recording it.
Dang nabbit.
Damn it.
Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid.
I think it'd probably be this one. You're just getting.
It's a wee bit too late for that.
I was gonna say, already pissed all over the floor. Welcome back, guys. I know in the last clip that you guys seen, we were actually still tearing the motor out and kind of tearing it down, doing an inspection on it, and the GoPro died, and I did not have any extra batteries, so I didn't get the rest of. I kind of lost the remaining part of the day, unfortunately. It's dark out, it's a little chilly, so we ended up just inspecting the block. The block was fine. Everything that we had seen, aside from the damage on the cams and the cam buckets on the exhaust side, everything else was is tits. It seemed fine. I didn't see any issues with it. What we ended up doing then is we built a crate for it, got it all strapped down. Basically now it sits in the crate waiting for the transport company to come and pick it up and actually take it to Exigent in Ohio, and they're gonna end up tearing it into and kind of doing all that stuff. So anyways, I just kind of wanted to touch base with you guys before we end this video. So this is the first of the series on what we're gonna be kind of, I guess, doing for the rebuild. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching the video today. Again, stay tuned because we got a lot more videos coming in part of the rebuild, what we're going to be doing in the meantime while we're waiting for the motor. We have a bunch of other stuff we still got to put on the car. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the video. I really appreciate all your guys' support. Don't forget to subscribe and also like this video, and looking forward to the rest of this rebuild. So stay tuned. Have a good one, guys.